comment on my part. I've visited with most of you coming off the field, but I want to introduce to you Tad Carper, our new Senior Vice President of Communications. And so he's going to take your normal conference that you have and questions you have with Coach, and he's going to lead the way like he's going to be doing from now on. Tad, with no further ado.
Thank you. Good to be here with everybody. And I'm going to have some stuff for you here in a little bit, but out of respect for Coach's time here, he's got some stuff to get to. We're going to roll right into his segment right now. I will ask you to do one thing special. I've been watching all of this stuff. Where's Clarence? Where's Clarence at? Yeah. Been watching you a lot, Clarence. I do ask that you identify yourself in the outlet you're working for. When you ask your question, that'll help me out a lot. I appreciate it, and I think it helps everybody that's watching and tuning in on the live stream too. So without anything more about me, let's get back to football and Coach. Coach.
Wednesday night.
All right, questions?
Yeah, Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News.
Dallas Morning News? Thank you. All right.
Ken, with the loss of James Washington, what is your approach? Would you like to see some of these younger guys to see what you have before bringing in help from the outside? Or would you like to get a veteran in here?
I mean, I think just like anything, you have a 90-man roster. Our wide receiver group, even going into this camp by design, we wanted to make sure we're giving all these young guys an opportunity. But the other part of it too is you do have the install phase that you're going through. So I think you'll definitely see these young guys improve, with those opportunities, particularly once you get past the install phase. So that's really what my focus is as far as being on who's here. As far as veterans and understanding what's going on at each and every position. I mean, player acquisitions is constant. So if we go that way, it's to be determined. But it's not a focus of mine.
USA Today. We've talked to you about what some of the young receivers are showing already, but we've had a couple more padded practices since. What are some of the guys showing you in team drills?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, and it's on so many fronts. It's beautiful to be here, but it really gives you the opportunity to practice the way we just got done practicing. So, we had identified in the meetings today that hey, we really needed to pick up the competitive environment. I thought yesterday we got off to a solid start, but I think we were trying to do things right. Getting through the drills and where drill work is one thing, the competitive team periods is another, and the intensity of the team drills is where it needs to be. We need to keep it that way, but now the discipline part comes. The technique will always be the last to show up. That's what training camp does, specifically the fact that we're only in our second padded practice. But I really like the step that we took today. So we got the competitive spirit where it needs to be, but we got to get the discipline on how to do it the right way, particularly in some of the the collisions and things that you have, and you go through that every year. I don't think there's ever been a year as a head coach where day one you just don't feel real great about the work. Watch the tape; it's better than you think it is. I'm anxious to watch the tape of this practice because I thought our guys really flew around today. So I love that about the practice.
Mike, Clarence Hill, Fort Worth Star-Telegram.
You can't even say it with a straight face. It's hilarious.
CeeDee Lamb is the only healthy receiver right now that has a career touchdown pass in the NFL. Is this an opportunity to let these guys grow, or is there concern about, the experience, the depth, guys who've made plays in this league?
Well, we talk about growth, we talk about draft and develop. Here it is. This is what it's all about. Each and every team that I've ever been a head coach of, there's always some level of projection and growth that has to occur. So the only way to get there is through these training camp practices. So, you don't wait to the preseason game to start that process. You don't wait to giving them opportunities early in the season. So, this is what it looks like. It's unfortunate that James, was injured, but it's really opportunities for these young players to step up.
Mike McCarthy from ESPN. I'm just wondering your thoughts on Dennis Houston and what he's shown you from going back to when he got her in April or before that after the draft.
He's Dennis has really jumped out. That you could see it in the OTAs. I mean, he made a lot of plays. I think everybody, both sides of the ball, was impressed, and I think history would tell you, okay, now let's see what he does in pads. So, and I think he's put together 2 solid days. So, guy's a heck of a young football player.
Cowboy Watkins, Dallas Morgan. Noah Brown's been here about 6 years. What have you seen in him? He's only been around him almost 3 years now. What have you seen in Noah?
I think Noah clearly is having the best camp that I've seen in our time. I mean, he's lighter, and I think he's made a very conscious effort to go into this. I mean, he's lost the weight early in the off season, so he's been playing this way now for a couple months. So I really like what Noah's doing. He's very flexible, can play all 4 positions on on offense and receiver group, but also he's one of our primary special team players.
You talked earlier this week about working the kickers back in to practice and situational work. How do you feel they've responded over these last 2 days, especially today?
I think they've responded, kind of on a normal curve. I think the first day was, you could feel that, they didn't hit the ball as clean as I think they would like. I think they're definitely hitting the ball better. We'll continue to work them. We're going to keep that period going there at the beginning of practice during the team fundamentals. So, you can see just the last 2 days we've really, upped their snaps. Or also made them part of the mojo moment. So, because, we're trying to get them as close to live reps as possible.
Ferguson at practice. What's wrong with those? Sprinkle and Ferguson weren't out there, and you have to watch your numbers at tight end if it's something that keeps them out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those are things that kind of happened right. Jake was right at the beginning of practice, so he had a hamstring they're looking at, and then Jeremy has an Achilles that kind of flared up on him. So that's why both those guys missed practice. I'm sorry?
Jabril Cox.
Okay,
Jabril Cox.
Jabril. Okay, Jabril Cox. Yeah, just being smart. Obviously coming off the major knee, it kind of dinged it a little bit. It's not of serious nature, so we just kind of shut him down. I do anticipate him. He'll practice. He will definitely practice on. We don't have the practice tomorrow. We just have the mock game, so he'll practice on Thursday.
Joe Trahan, WFAA TV. Can you talk about John Ridgway and the kind of attitude he plays with and what you like about it?
Love John's attitude. I think John's clearly one of those guys. You look at him and Bohannon, they show up when the pads are on. And it's that anchor body type, but they play with a lot of juice. John's come in here right away. I mean, he's rambunctious. He's definitely will continue to grow as a pro defensive lineman, but really like the start that he's put together.
Dallas Morning News lead columnist.
There you go, David. Yeah.
Wow.
By default.
I forgot the question. You led the league.
I'm enjoying the intro, though. I'll say that.
You led the league in takeaways last year, and teams tend to bounce around a lot in that category. What is the key or 2 keys to being back near the top of your defense?
I mean, I really do. I think it starts in your practice. I think it starts the way you practice. You see the way our guys attack the football and go after the football. We actually, ball security was an emphasis in the team meeting today. So, number 1 in takeaways, I think 10 in giveaways. So, and clearly taking care of the football in the area of fumbles. I think we do a good job on both sides of that. Interceptions, we were number 1. I think we're a little high, with the middle of the pack. So those are the things really for the off season. But it's just, I believe you get what you emphasize in this league. It's more now than ever. You only have your time slotted 11 hours a day. How much of that are you spending on ball security? We're all working the drills. We're all coaching it. But who's doing it better? And I think our players do a hell of a job in the extra ball drills and the emphasis on the football. Particularly, you can see it at the end of plays. That's by design, because it goes both ways. The stripping and all that. It really helps It's annoying for our perimeter players, but it definitely helps.
Do you think the hot start Diggs got off to and the story that became kind of got everybody involved, everybody caught up in it?
I think that's anytime one of your guys is having success and an area of emphasis, yeah, I think it definitely adds some extra motivation. I mean, the best motivation is internal. I've always felt that, and I think that's definitely a good example of that.
WFAA. And Deshaun Wright seems to keep getting his hands on the football. Obviously, had the interception the other day. What have you seen that you like from him in terms of his activity around the ball?
I tell you what, Deshaun had the back there in the OTAs, but I tell you, since training camp, his weight's up. Taking that big second-year jump, I think he's off to tremendous. The interception he had yesterday was a really nice play. He's all over the football. And also, if you remember last year, Shawnee was an outstanding special teams player for us too. So he's definitely doing a lot of good things.
Just what you've seen from him. I'm sorry, Tank Lawrence, just having the benefit of actually having a camp, he seems to be pretty energized.
Yeah, definitely. I think anytime you miss it, the year before, and the appreciation, miss time the year before, the appreciation to get back into it definitely helps. So off to a good start.
To what level do you feel the win contributed?
How many guys you got at Dallas Swanee?
Too many.
Too many?
Too many.
Oh.
Takes 4 guys to do one guy's job.
Takes 4 guys to compete.
All right. To what level do you feel the wind contributed to the inefficiency we saw in terms of kicking today?
Yeah, the wind was definitely a factor today. No question about it. Now we we did the earlier kicking, you could see it, but same deal. We wanted to put pressure on those guys. Those mojo moment kicks were all high pressure kicks. All 6 of them. So it's just good quality work.
Kicking them this regularly, is there a balance at all about wanting to give them opportunities while also trying to avoid overworking them and any issues that could arise from that?
Well, I mean, it's all regulated. I mean, that's really what I do in the evenings. We go back and look at everything. There's constant communication. John and John Bones and Stu have a great relationship with those guys. Trust me, we're counting all their kicks too. But this is needed. We need this competition. We need to give these guys these opportunities because right now we don't know much about either one of them. Laram's been with us, and it's nice to see him get a full opportunity this time, and I definitely want to make sure he gets that. So, but I think we all understand that we're going to stay this way. So I mean, this is something you'll see all the way through this week and next week.
David Hellman, Fox Sports. Just curious, when you have as many inexperienced receivers as you have, is there a philosophy for who gets to work with Dak at this stage in camp? Or?
Yeah, definitely. There's a little bit of a earning that goes on for timing because at the end of the day, so much of camp, as far as the number of reps you have, is getting the right time clock. So, and hey, Dak's on a pitch count too. So I mean, he's only going to throw the ball so many times. So I mean, it just we're in touch with that, and I definitely would pay attention to it.
One more, right here.
Tristan? Well, I thought he was extremely active today. I think the line movement, we had a lot of it today defensively, and and I think that really plays well for him too. So it clearly looks like he's back from the injury. So I thought during the off-season program he had some ups and downs because of the knee, but so far so good. Looks good.
Back on the receiver thing real quick, the timing of the injury and the fact that those guys might not miss a ton of games, how much does that factor into the decision making right now?
It's really too early. I mean, I understand all the conversations and all the different ways at the 53 to address that, but we got a lot of work to do between now and then, and we got a lot of young guys that will, in my opinion, will take advantage of this opportunity.
All right.
Thank you.